you are not alone. Many people feel like life is heavy, confusing, and full of fear. But under all the thoughts, worries, and stories in your mind, there is something very simple and peaceful, pure awareness. This script is about that awareness. It is about seeing that you are not just your name, your past, your thoughts, or your problems. You are the quiet presence that notices all of these. When you see this clearly, fear starts to soften, and life feels lighter and more connected. Have you ever really asked yourself, who am I? Not your name, not your job, not what others think about you, but the one who is quietly watching everything. Most of us live as if we are separate from the world, as if life is happening out there, and we are in here, trying to control or protect ourselves. But what if this feeling of being separate is just a story the mind tells? What if the me you are always defending is not solid, but more like a cloud that changes shape all the time? Think about how often you say, I am this or I am that. You might say, I am a student. I am a failure. I am successful. I am shy. These are just labels. They describe a role or a moment, but they are not who you truly are. Your thoughts change. Your emotions change. Even your body is changing all the time. Yet you cling to this small idea of me and become tired and stressed trying to protect it. Deep down, a part of you knows that this self is not solid. It knows you are more than your story. Imagine letting go of all these labels for a moment. Let go of your past, your regrets, your worries about the future. Let go of what people think of you. Let go of the need to be right, to be special, to be better than others. If you drop all of that, what remains? There is still something here. There is awareness. There is presence. There is life itself moving through you. This simple awareness is peaceful, open, and free. When you rest in this awareness, the world feels more alive. Colors seem brighter. Sounds feel clearer. Even your own breathing feels rich and real. You do not have to force this. You do not have to understand everything with your mind. Just notice. Notice the space between your thoughts. Notice the quiet feeling that is always in the background, even when your mind is busy. When fear shows up and the mind says, who am I if I am not this ego? Not this story. You do not need to fight it. You can simply smile at that fear and return to your breath, to your body, to the feeling of being here right now. Much of human suffering comes from believing that we are separate from others, from the world, even from life itself. We think, that is their problem, not mine. That is their pain, not mine. We live like we are in a small box, cut off from everything else. But if you look closely, you can see that this separation is also just a thought. The mind draws a line, me here, world there, and then defends that line. This creates fear, loneliness, and constant tension. Look at a river. It does not say, this water is me. That water is not me. It simply flows. It is connected to the rain, the ocean, the sky, the earth. In the same way, you are connected to everything. The air you breathe was inside trees and other people. The food you eat becomes your body. The emotions of others affect you, and your actions affect them. You are not a lonely island. You are part of one big movement of life. When you feel your breath, you can see that it is not really yours. It comes and goes on its own, like a gift. In this simple breath, the idea of separation starts to fade. Now think about how much energy you use resisting life. You resist your feelings. You resist situations. You resist change. The mind says, this should not be happening. My life should be different. I must control everything. That resistance creates pain. It is like trying to stop a river with your hands. The more you fight, the more tired and unhappy you become. But what if, instead of fighting, you allowed life to flow? A river does not fight the rocks. It moves around them. It bends and continues. The river does not panic or argue with reality. In the same way, you can begin to move with life instead of against it. Think of the last time you were really anxious or angry. Was the pain coming from the situation itself or from your mind saying, "This must not be like this"? There is always a gap between what is happening and the story you tell about what is happening. The suffering is mostly in the story. Imagine for a moment that you could drop that story. You could stop saying this is wrong and instead say, this is what is here now. This does not mean you stop acting or caring. It means you stop fighting with reality inside your mind. When you drop the inner war, there is a new lightness. You feel more open, more at ease. Life still moves, but you are no longer tense inside. You act from clarity, not fear. We also fear death, sometimes so deeply that we do not even like to think about it. We treat life and death as two enemies, one to hold tightly, the other to avoid at all costs. But look at nature. A flower blooms, then fades. A day begins, then ends. A wave rises and falls. Do we say the wave failed when it falls back into the sea? No. It is just part of the natural movement. Life and death are two sides of the same process. They are not truly separate. Your body is changing and aging from the moment you are born. Every breath is a small beginning and a small ending. Life is not something to keep in a box forever. It is a flow. When you see this, death becomes less like a monster and more like a natural part of the dance. This does not mean you stop caring about life. In fact, you value it more. You feel grateful for each moment, each heartbeat, each connection, because you see how precious and temporary it is. Try something simple right now. Take a deep breath in, then slowly breathe out. As you breathe, imagine you are like a wave on the ocean. You rise, you change. One day you will fall. But the water, the life, the awareness is always there. The wave is never really separate from the sea. In the same way, you are never really separate from life itself. Even your fear is just another wave passing through the same sea of awareness. Now bring your attention back to this present moment. Notice how often your mind runs to the future or past. It says, "I will be happy when," or "I was better before," or "what if something bad happens?" But the only place you can ever truly live is now. The present moment is where your real life is happening. Not in memory, not in imagination, but here, in your breath, in your body, in your senses. Feel the chair or bed under you. Listen to the sounds around you. Feel your chest rise and fall. This simple noticing is powerful. It brings you out of the story in your head and back into life as it is. You are not just a character lost in thoughts. You are the awareness that can see those thoughts. When you remember this, even for a few seconds, you feel more peaceful, more whole, more real. You do not need to become perfect or spiritual or special to live this way. You only need to notice. Notice when you are lost in thought. Notice when you are resisting. Notice when you feel separate and afraid, and then gently return to your breath, to your body, to the present moment. Over time, this becomes a new habit. Life stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling like a dance. As you go through your day, try to carry this awareness with you. Notice small things, the sound of your footsteps, the feeling of water on your hands, the look in someone's eyes, the sky above you. These are not just background details. They are life itself, meeting you again and again. And you are not separate from them. You are part of the same living